According to a new study out today, cable news is more polarized and extreme than any other time in the last 10 years, and I will bet probably ever. Now, this isn't that surprising, and it's been the driving mission behind this show, to try to offer something different. Smart, reasoned, opinionated, but unbiased take on the news for the rest of us, the marginalized, moderate majority. The study from the University of Pennsylvania, titled, quote, Measuring Dynamic Media Bias, looked at Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN and rated each on a bias scale using airtime of guests from a 10-year span of 2010 to 2020. Some of the specific findings: Fox News identifies as further right, and CNN and MSNBC moved left after the 2016 election, and that the most biased hosts are in primetime, like Rachel Maddow and Tucker Carlson. Maybe most interesting was how CNN moved from to the right of MSNBC to the left of them. And you have to work to be to the left of MSNBC. The broad explanation, according to Associate Professor of Communications Iftach Lelks, who co-authored the report, quote, for many years, Fox News was to the right of MSNBC and CNN, but they used to track each other. When Fox moved to the right, so did MSNBC and CNN. They all flowed together. After Trump came into office, they responded to events in the news by leaning away from each other and more strongly toward their respective ideologies. So the entire political media landscape shifted dramatically in 2016, and cable news consumers were left trying to figure this out without a reasonable and centrist point of view. Enter us. Joining me now is one of the co-authors of the study, an assistant professor of political science at the University of Utah, Josh McCrain. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Appreciate it. So,
yeah, thanks for having me.
What to you was the most surprising? I mean, a lot of people are going to see this and they're going to say, well, of course, you know, the media is biased. Of course, they're going to the extreme. What was the most surprising finding to you?
Yeah, I think what my co-author If highlighted in that quote was kind of the most interesting thing is that, you know, we did see them the stations kind of track the political environment quite a bit. And then what we saw in 2016 and was sort of exacerbated since then is that they've kind of polarized, with Fox moving to one extreme and then the other two channels, at least in the way we measure it, moving to the other. As you probably are aware, there are a lot of good economic reasons to suggest they're doing that. And I think that what we find tells us a lot about the economics of these major cable channels.
What do you mean by that? I mean, explain it to those who may not be as familiar with the internal workings of cable news.
Yeah, so, you could think of two maybe explanations for the business model of a major cable channel. One is to appeal to like the broadest audience possible, sort of like what you talked about earlier with your show, is to kind of aim down the middle. Yep. Another explanation would be to appeal to the really partisan, active segment of the audience and really try to carve them out for yourself. So we've thought that's what Fox has been doing for a long time. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that that has been Fox's stated business model. It seems to be MSNBC has gotten better at doing that, or at least that's more clearly the case. We didn't really have a good sense of what was going on with CNN along those lines, right? And if you look at our data, it does show that there is more variation within CNN. It's not just, to the left, there is some differences by show. But at least what we show, it would maybe suggest that CNN is also realizing there's just not a lot of market for like this major centrist news organization, at least for primetime shows.
Yeah, look, I've said this, that is what they have determined. I'm sort of categorizing this on this show as the moderate, marginalized majority that have become forgotten in the world of cable news. But it does seem clear, according to your study, that for CNN to claim that they are just unbiased and that they're just centrist and in the middle just isn't true, right?
I don't want to make too strong a claim here. We use a very particular measure of doing this, which is what we call visibility bias, like how much screen time they give to ideological actors. You could certainly tell a story that there's something about the content of what they're actually saying that is different and maybe not as far left as we show. We show that, for instance, with Jake Tapper's show is sort of like in our measure right down the middle. But yeah, I mean, what we can say based on what we know in our data is that in the Trump era, in particular, CNN put a lot of more left-leaning people on the screen than more right-leaning people. So, I'll let you draw your conclusion of what that means.
Shocker. We have to put up a breaking news banner there. breaking news. CNN put up more left-leaning. Anyway, look, I think this is important stuff. I think it's interesting. And Josh, we appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on the show. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.